and I'm just sitting there and the TV's on and CNN's on, and I'm just empathetically watching it. I wanted to put myself in the scene and just take in what they're saying. And, dude, it is start to finish fiction. It's start to finish fiction, and I totally understand. I understand where people who believe that they're fighting against, I totally understand that they believe that they're fighting evil. I know why they believe they're fighting evil. They're not bad people. They've been completely fucked.
Right. I think that's a great point to keep in mind. You know, that the whole divide and conquer thing. You know, you don't really win that way if we're divided. Yeah, they're kind of morons, but you know, just they haven't seen the all the facts yet.
I know some very smart people.
So do I.
Who have been swallowed up by it.
Oh, absolutely.
And when you look at what they're inundated with, and this is not me coming from a perspective of, well, listen, I watch Fox News, and I can tell you comparatively, no, I don't watch. I don't watch television for news.
No, me neither.
Okay,
I watch the Quite Frankly podcast for news.
Shit. Goddamn. Well,
it's true. To me, it's toxic. I can't even watch it for too long. You know,
dude, everything. I saw April Ryan goes up there.
I don't even know who that is.
April Ryan, she's a White House correspondent. She kind of looks like one of the pigs from Angry Birds, and everything. These anchors are throwing her softball questions like, well, April, because they're talking about the Women's March. You say, well, April, you know, what of this? You know, it is true that the economy is doing better. The stock market is surging. People's 401ks are increasing by at least 30% over President Trump's first year. Unemployment for women is at a record low. Unemployment for blacks is and minorities across the board is at a record low. That all of a sudden you see businesses that are reinvesting in their employees. They're reinvesting in the expansion of their business. They're bringing business back to the United States. They're not as scared to do it here, especially since the tax cuts for corporations is permanent.
Right.
You know, that's one of those things where if you say, okay, well, the corporate tax rate is going to come down 5% for 5 years and then it's up for renewal. Nobody's going to bring it back home. They know in 5 years they're going to have to leave again.
Right.
You know, so when you do permanent things and you actually reform things, you give people more of a confidence to say, this is a place I would like to incubate my business within.
Absolutely.
You know? But she says that to April Ryan. And what does April Ryan do? April Ryan says, she begrudgingly says, no, that is true. And then she says, but the devil is in the details, and tries to dampen down the excitement for something that is positive.
I know.
It's good. It's a good thing. Here's an example of the devil's in the details. When people come out and say that the Affordable Care Act is a success, and you have all of these sign-ups to prove it, the devil in the details of Obamacare is that you have federal mandates telling you to sign up or pay a fine.
Right.
And then you're going to say that this is a success?
How did it work for you?
It worked for me. I had to leave my employer.
You and I in the same, because we were both employed at the same place.
And we both probably had the same insurance.
We had Aetna that I was paying $112 a month for. I had no problem with this. I never used it, but it was great to have.
And I'll tell you something. I used it once. I was playing a lot of flag football about maybe 5 or 6 years ago, and I sprained my ankle bad. Do you remember I came to work for a couple of weeks in the crutches?
Yeah, I think I was laughing at you for that.
Dude, it was fucked up, man. But in either case, I went to the emergency room. I didn't pay for that X-ray. I didn't pay for. They gave me another tetanus shot because it had been over 10 years.
Wow.
I mean, dude.
Yeah.
Fine. I mean, you're gonna give me physicals and you're gonna give me emergency room. Thank you.
Right.
$112 a month.
I was fine with that. Absolutely fine with that.
But you and I did not have coverage for mammograms.
Right.
So we couldn't have our insurance anymore.
Right. So then it was taken away from us. Not only that, they capped how much we could work. So they made it so like, oh, well, now you're part-time employees. Everybody got capped over there at like 30 hours or whatever it was.
No, it gave birth to a new type of employee called the 29.5-er.
Exactly.
That's when everybody started getting capped at 29.5 hours, so employers didn't have to kill their business by giving everybody this ridiculous amount of insurance for shit they didn't need.
Right. And then they forced us to go to a third party to pay. Otherwise, we were gonna pay a fine, which is like the most un-American thing you could think of.
You know, the best thing about that is that after a while, I lost my doctor because I didn't like the fact that, well, you're forced into this dilemma. You lost your insurance that you were happy with, that you could afford.
Right.
Now you have a mandate hanging over your head. You have to say, do I pay the mandate and just take a chance at being uninsured for an entire year? Or do I go on the government dole? So I went on the government dole. I'm on Medicare.
Right.
And because I'm on Medicare and because I know I'm healthy and because I'm so diametrically opposed to this, I haven't gone and gotten a physical in 4 years. Because I don't want to take, this is not my fucking, I didn't pay for this shit.
Right.
That's the whole thing about it. You know, I'm in this predicament. I know other people say, hey, listen, at least you're a citizen. Go and fucking get the physical.
Right.
But, you know, the thing that kills me, too, is when people say, well, I have anecdotal evidence. I'm on Obamacare. I wasn't insured before that. It works great. Well, there's another one, devil in the details.
Exactly.
If you rob from Peter to give something to Paul, you're telling me Paul is going to have a negative opinion on it?
Right. Right. Exactly.
And that's going to be your proof? The proof's in the pudding? I mean, it's so when people watch CNN or MSNBC on a daily basis, and that's all they're doing, I totally understand why they think they're fighting Emperor Palpatine.
Right. I mean, I had this health insurance conversation maybe 2 weeks ago with somebody. And, you know, a successful person, so very much removed from the level at which that we have to deal with things. And when he was like genuinely wanting to know why you wouldn't want this type of thing, right? Now, first off, the way I was brought up, you know what I mean? You know, once you get hooked on the government dole, that's it.
It doesn't matter if you're a Republican, a Democrat. It's a humanity thing.
Right. And so the way I was raised is like better to make or break on your own. You know what I mean? If you absolutely need it, and that's one thing, emergency. But, you know, so anyway, I wasn't going to go with that. You know, so he was trying to say, well, why wouldn't you just do that, blah, blah. And then when I explained the scenario, it was like boggling his mind, you know? Like there was other, like Brendan and Amanda were right there. They had to say the same thing. Like, no, this is what happened to us. And he couldn't even like believe. He was like, really? Like they would do that? Yeah,
Of course they would. And here's the best thing, because in those 3 to 4 years that I haven't had a physical, my doctor that knew me, that knew my family, a doctor for my entire family, because I hadn't gone back in 2 years, the doctor's office had said, if you haven't been here in 2 years, you're considered a new patient, and they are no longer taking new patients from Medicare.
Wow.
Because
right. And look at how that Affordable Care Act changed the way medicine is practiced right now. Everything's compartmentalized in network. It's a nightmare.
Altruism always ends up bad. But listen,